Hello, welcome back to this YouTube series of Airbnb clone with Ruby on Rails. And in last video, we redesigned our login page. Let's log in test1 at the gmail.com/6. Yeah, it's working. Now, in this video, we'll focus on creating the properties on our homepage. We'll start with front end, then we'll introduce our database and connect our front end with our database. It will take multiple videos to do that. So in this particular video, I'm focused on showing our properties here with dummy data. So let's open our real Airbnb, refresh, and we can see this. It has a carousel. We will implement that later on, but for now we want some sort of image here. Then there are four texts and one on the right side. So let's go to our Tailwind UI. Yes, in this, let's try to find something around this. Navigation, no. Elements, maybe no, not elements. Layout, not. E-commerce, yeah. Product list. This one looks good. This is also good. Not required. These one won't be required for our case. These are cards. No. So let's copy one of these. I think this looks good. Let me copy this one. Okay, so first of all, this is a paid product. So for viewers who don't want to buy this, I'm creating a replica of this in my Tailwind CSS templates folder, which is inside my view, and you can find it on GitHub. New file underscore product dot html dot prb. Let's paste it directly and what? Okay, this is more products. This is shop the collection. Shop the collection. Okay, let's copy this and paste it in our index file and see how it looks. Instead of hello world, let's paste this. Refresh. This looks like this. Now in Airbnb we have a filter section, but right now we are not implementing that. We can do that later on. Let's focus on properties. So for that, let me get rid of this trending and collection. This one, right? So we don't need this div. Let's get rid of this. And wait, what was this? Okay, I think it's for smaller devices. I think so. Let's get rid of this and this. So for this, we can remove this div. Yeah, we have this UI. Now we want to replicate this. So we can add more products here, right? That means this is our first item. So I'll just copy this and create some replicas. I'm just copy pasting them, nothing else. Let's refresh and we can see that it's working. On other devices, it's not looking that great. Let me have a look at something else. Let's try this one. Yeah, let's try this one. I will update my product. This is asking out for aspect ratio. Let's check this too. Let's paste it here. Go to our config, tailwind config. We want aspect ratio, which is already there. So let's close this. How does it look? We don't want this customers also purchased. So let's get rid of this. And we can, this is our product. This is our first item. So let's copy paste this. Let's refresh and this one looks a bit better, not that perfect, but it's still a bit better. Yeah, so I'll use this one. Let's get rid of things that we don't not want. First of all, I'll remove all these items, and instead of that, we'll use loop. Okay, I'm just undoing everything right now. Yeah, so what we can do is we can loop through this div. So for that, we can use our Ruby code. We want to render this, that's why equals to, let's do this 10 dot times. We want this item 10 times. Do, let's shift this, indent this correctly, and end. Refresh, and we can still see it's 10 times and it's showing 10. Why is it showing 10? Let's do this once, and it is showing 1. Maybe, yeah. Okay, so for internal div, it is rendering directly, so we don't need this. Similar to if else loop that we have used earlier. Great, it is working correctly. Now let's filter this out. Instead of this, let me use some property image. So Airbnb property images. Let me use some dark one. Oh, this looks good. So let's open this first. Copy image address and let's paste it here. This looks good. Okay, we want these to be square. These, they are not perfectly square, but they look like a square. I think the sizes are a bit different. But yeah, still, let's do this. Aspect ratio H1 H1. It's already there, but why is it? Yeah, for large they are not using aspect ratio, so let's remove that criteria. Now it looks much more like a square. We want this heart icon, we'll introduce that later on, and we want these strings, right? So let's go to basic T. The font should be semi-bold. Semi-bold, yeah. The margin should be a bit different. Let's make it 2. And the font size should be base, a bit bigger, medium. These are all these changes you can do on your own. So for these particular changes, you don't need to watch this video. You can do this on your own. Even if it is a bit different, it's fine. I won't be naming any IDs, or I won't be naming any doing any backend work, so it won't matter. Okay, I'm just trying to finish this video. For black we have margin top 1, and then there is something outside there. Let's get rid of this. We don't need this right now. Yeah. Okay, black is on right side. Why so? Because justify between. Let's use flex column. Or maybe we don't need flex at all. Yes, we don't need flex at all. Gap is a bit less. Here it's more. So let's do this 0.5. Yes. Font size looks a bit smaller. Let's use base. Instead of basic T, let's use Udaipur, India, hosted by Rajat. Okay, font size looks bad. Let's check all the font sizes that we have in Tailwind. SM, base, large. Okay, so there is nothing between SM and base. So let's use SM only. We can use custom classes also, but I don't want to go into that. Hosted by, then comes 20 to 25th Jan, 20 to 25th Jan. Okay, there is no space here. We'll fill all these details with the correct data later on. And finally, this. For this, we can use font light and we'll have to use span because it's a mixture of two different types of fonts. First is medium or bold type of font, and second is light. So I've used font light for the entire class, and in that I'll be using font medium. And let's write this as, instead of rupees, let's use $110. You can use rupees, anything, it's completely fine. It doesn't matter for us. We want to change the color also. Let's use a space here, and instead of this, let's use black. I think this looks good. The fonts and sizes can be a bit different, but you can go to inspect element and figure that out. There is a rating on the right side, so let's try to fix that. This is our H3, correct? So let's use div. Let's write flex and justify between, will separate them, and let's write, you can make it a paragraph or a span, anything should work. 4.8. Yes, it looks good. I think font size is a bit small and light also. So for this, we'll use font light. That should be suffice. And let's use a star also from this. Copy. I'm trying to copy this element directly. You can use hero icons because Tailwind uses hero icons, so that would, let's try rating. Yeah, you can copy this from here also. I'm copying it from our original Airbnb website. This one. Inside this, we have a span. Let's expand this span. We have another span. Let's expand this because we don't need these classes. And let's copy this. Copy SVG element. Let's refresh. Okay. Flex item center. Looks good. Okay, let's reduce the size. Okay, this won't work for this one. So let's directly use text as looks better, and we can use margin here. Class margin right one to create some sort of gap, but yeah, it looks good. And now we can paste this. Yeah, here's some indentation fixes, nothing more. Okay, we don't need this more products comment here. Okay, we can convert these styles also in here. Like we can write block and get rid of this display block. For height, we can use H3, W3, H3. 3 means 1 is equivalent to 4 pixels, so 3 into 4, 12. Let's try to check this. It looks good. Then fill current color. Okay. For this, I don't know the property tailwind. Fill, fill none, fill current color, right? So fill current, and we can get rid of this. Sorry, we can get rid of this style, and we can get rid of this comment also. I think this looks good. There's too much margin top, and there is no border at bottom. So let's add this. Let's go to our tailwind header and add a bottom border bottom. Let me check. I don't remember these properties on top of my head. Border bottom maybe. Border radius width color no. Hidden divide color. Border bottom in tailwind. Let's try this. Border T for top. I think so. Border T2. Okay, great. Border B1. And we'll have to name the color also. Border blue anyway, right? So border gray 200. It's not working. I think there is some border bottom. It did work. Let's try gray. It is working. Let's try 200. Working. Do we need 200? No, we need, oh, sorry, we need one width, 4px, but look, it looks bad. Okay, no worries. I'm not sure why one is not working. So our code, earlier code was correct, but it uses two minimum maybe. No worries, let's keep it that way. Now we want to get rid of this margin top, right? So let's inspect this. This div has a padding px8 maybe, sorry, not x, py. So let's go to our product, not product, index. And in that, this is py16. And on smaller, it's changing to 24. Sorry, let's fix this by 16. Maybe 8. Yeah, 8 should be fine. And let's reduce this size and see how it looks on a small view. Okay. Here also I would try 4 maybe. Yeah, 4 should be fine. Maybe just 2. Yeah, let's get rid of this completely. Yeah, let's get rid of this completely for now. It's fine. You can keep it on your own preference. So I'll end this video here. We are able to show 10 different properties. The entire first page is responsive. We can fix it furthermore, but right now it's good enough. And in next video, we'll work on further details in this. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.